Okay, I'm going to talk about the breast pump that I personally think is the best and that I've used with both of my boys. With my first son, he had difficulty with latching. He was having trouble breathing when he was born, so anytime I tried to put him to my breast, his oxygen levels would just go down dramatically. So I had to pump and give him a bottle, and then finally when he was able to be released from the hospital, we had trouble with nipple confusion, so I just went ahead and I continued pumping for him. And right at about like the 15-month marker, I was like about 5 months pregnant with my second son, and I think my milk just changed too much for him, so that is when he kind of like fully weaned himself off of breast milk. But I had just been exclusively pumping for him for 15 months, and then after my second son came, I went ahead and I would just pump so that I could store some extra milk just in case of any kind of emergency. I haven't had to use any of the milk that I've stored, and so far, you know, he hasn't had to have a bottle at all. So, but still, this is what the pump that I use and that I recommend. Now mine's worn because obviously I've used it through 2 kids and I've had it for like over 2 years. But I use the Medela Freestyle pump, and you know, it has a rechargeable battery, and you just plug it into an outlet and it'll recharge the internal battery. And then also you can get car chargers so that you can also pump when you're traveling, or if you're camping and you're worried you're not going to have an outlet but you have your car, then you can use a car charger. This one though, you turn it on and it has the 2 settings, the 2 different suction settings. Not all breast pumps have it, but it's kind of the setting to help with your letdown, and then just like the natural normal sucking setting. And each one has 10 levels. So on each side, the letdown side and then the natural sucking side, both have 10 levels. And then it has this little mom right here on this side, and that is just like for your memory, for whatever setting you prefer. You can store it in here so that the breast pump, you turn it on and you just press that button and it goes automatically to that setting. Now the thing that, I mean, most of that right there is all positive things that I love about this breast pump. The only thing that I will say is not the greatest is you can get most of these parts, well, you can get a lot of replacement parts online, but for the Medela Freestyle pump, if you need to get new tubing, you have to go through Medela, and you might be able to get a new rechargeable battery, but I think you might have to go through Medela for that too. So with a lot of the other pumps, it's a lot easier to get replacement parts, but Medela is really good about shipping, so it just, I hate that you can't just go into a store and get the parts that you need. That's the only downfall. But it uses, you know, the soft cup breast shields, and you can do both breasts at once. So, and it has like entire hands-free options. I actually have never tried it, but I know a lot of people recommend it. I was just too lazy to take the time to set it up. But basically it comes with little straps that you can attach to your bra, and you can just pump hands-free. So some people are able to pump while driving. It's just, I mean, I don't know. I guess it really depends on what kind of driver you are and how good you are. So I don't know if I'd really recommend that, unless, you know, you can do that stress-free and it's not going to affect your driving. But this one has saved me on plane rides and on everything with my first son, just being able to use it, and it still works. And the battery, it stayed charged for a really long time. I could probably, you know, pump for like every 3 hours for probably, I think probably like 2 days. It says that it has about, I think like 2 or 2.5 hours of like pump life. I'm not quite sure, I could be wrong, but it seemed to really last me, that I could go a good long ways in between pumping, and not pumping, but in between recharging the battery. So I was really, really pleased with this pump. And I was able to get it for a really, really good price through addalittlelove.com. I think it's .com, it might be .org. I'll check before I post this, but yeah, they had discounted prices. So and they are, you know, an authorized Medela seller. So if you have a problem with the pump, you just keep your receipt from them and Medela will replace, you know, the product as long as it's within the first year of getting it. So that I really loved. I did have, I think, one problem with it was basically like having a computer. I had trouble you know, with the main base and getting it to turn on, and they were like, okay, well, plug this in, unplug this, and tell me what it says. And they were able to just establish that I needed a new one of these. So they went ahead and just sent it right away in the mail, and it was there the very next day. And all I had to do was just put the broken one into the box. So, I mean, it was a little inconvenient being without a pump, you know, for like a day. But, I mean, it was just one day. So I thankfully also have the Medela swing pump, so I was able to use that on the in-between time, but they were so fast about getting me the parts that I needed, and I was just so thankful. Their customer service was amazing. So I really recommend the Medela Freestyle pump. I know it's pricey, but you really are getting your money's worth when you use this pump. And I know a lot of people, they have trouble using pumps and getting their milk to let down, and I did not have that problem with this pump. It was a really, really nice pump. And getting it for a discounted price from the Add a Little Love, that made it, you know, even better. So if you're looking for a breast pump, if you're gonna go back to work, or, you know, if you're trying to get your milk supply up or store a little extra in case of an emergency, you know, well, if you're going to be using a pump for an extended amount of time, or if you just really want a good pump, I really recommend the Medela Freestyle pump.